Hello, welcome back. I'm Tonya from Tonya's Witchy Kitchen, and how are you doing today? I hope you're doing well. I need a slogan right there. Something to say. I got nothing, you guys. Okay. The question today is, when you're washing dishes by hand, do you use anything other than dish soap? Now, I know I've told you on the channel a few times that I will take my, if I have soap in a container, because I was mixing this and then, and then I have a little bit left, or my hot process soap crock pot, right? I will use that to wash dishes in, right? So anyway, to prove myself right about something, just for myself, so if it works for you, don't get on my case. Just tell me how you did it. To prove to myself that clay does not work in liquid soap, I made a small batch of my shower gel, okay? And clay is in the baking process, okay? So when you bake it to make the paste, the clay is in there. And then diluted it to prove to myself that the clay does not stay in the soap. It will separate and fall to the bottom. Which makes sense, because when you think of clay, right, they're like, oh, it easily dissolves in water or disperses in water. Well, dissolve doesn't really dissolve, because if you have a little bit of clay and you mix it with water, yeah, it mixes up great. If you leave the clay sit there and the water evaporates out, what do you have left? Clay. So it's kind of like, it's like a field trip. It's like your kid taking a field trip to school and they have the buddy system on the bus. So those two hang on to each other to make sure that they don't get lost on the field trip, right? But when they get back to school, they go to separate homes. So that's how I feel about the clay in the soap. It works fine in the cold process because it's, everything else is stuck together. They have to hang on to each other. But in the liquid soap, okay, it's fine in the paste because they're still hanging on to each other. But once you add the water and dilute it, it doesn't want to stay. It's got nothing to hold on to. There's no base for it to stick to. However you want to say it. I don't know. That's my thought process. And I proved myself right that I can't have the clay in the soap paste, and therefore don't put it in there. In this process of doing this, I had a jar of shower gel that the bottom half inch I couldn't use, okay? So I'm like, what the heck am I going to do with this? So, poured it off, had the bottom, and I'm like, dish soap. Threw it over my sink, told my hubby, hey, here's the dish soap for the next whatever long. I have been using that dish soap for the last week, okay? Not dish soap. I've been using that shower gel for the last week to wash my dishes. Because it's, you scoop it out and it's this creamy smoothie. I mean, if you haven't tried my shower gel, guys, like the improved products, like maybe you guys got to test some down the road, previously, but the new stuff it's beautiful. It's just, but anyway, so, not having a working dishwasher at the time yet, but this is a record. Okay, except for the time when I was little and we had to wash dishes by hand because my dad wouldn't hook up the dishwasher. Yeah, we had one. We just couldn't use it. Kind of like I am now. I have one. I just can't use it. But anyway, so washing dishes by hand with my shower gel is so much fun, you guys. It bubbles like there's no tomorrow. I washed all the dishes. Sorry, guys. The greasy ones, the soap making ones. I mean, they're wiped out really well, but still, they're greasy. There's whatever. All the things. I've been using it all week. It was crazy. Super crazy. And I loved it. Like, now, I'm not saying buy my bubble bath to use in your dishwasher water, but I guess it's something I could look into down the road. And that was my thought process. Like, I'm going to be playing with diluting this stuff like, because the bubble ratio, I mean, I could get it even higher, but, and the cleaning ratio even higher, but I didn't have a problem cleaning the dishes, guys. No. But do you guys use anything dumb in your dishwater? Not dumb. Do you use anything stellar in your dishwater that you just use because, like it helps? Or anything odd? Do you use bar soap? Do you use, I don't know. I'm just asking. It's just asking for a friend. No. Okay, this is getting long. Today we are doing a wood grain soap. I wanted to do a wood grain soap because I always show you the size of the soap. They're so cute. Right? But I didn't want to use all. I'll explain it. Okay, because there's different techniques. There's different things. There's different ways to cut. And holy crap, this was a mess. But that's what we're doing. Wood grain pour. Sort of, kind of, in a way. 3 things. Dream big. Be true to you. You are worth it. Let's go check out this complicated pour. Okay. Showing you my colorants first right off the bat. Orange Vibrance, Fire Cider, Activated Charcoal, and Titanium Dioxide. And I have to have a bigger bowl because it's a bigger soap. So we're using the wood mold. It wasn't the pour that was the problem. Sort of. Okay? Maybe I should have done a little more research. Probably. But I didn't want to use the bottles. Like, people used the little squeeze bottles to do the wood. And I can see how that would be so cute, right? Because like, love potion number ? That one is, that one's a delight. That one. And I should have done it something similar to that. But I didn't. I was trying to do, I wanted to see if I could do it with a bowl swirl. Because that's how I've done all those other ones, with a side pour, the bowl swirl, and then, okay. However, it's not the pour that was the problem. The main problem is also in the cutting. And after looking at some, I realized people cut them different ways. So I should have checked out Tree Marie Soapworks, because she's very specific on following, like, this is how the pour is done. Or even Mrs. Soap and Clay. Definitely one of the two. And I don't know why. I was like, I was busy with family this weekend and, all of those other things. And I was like, this is how I was going to do it. I had that in my head. So I'm using the base color of the soap. Okay, so just the base color, no colorants added to it, for one of the 4 colors. And I had to get that all straightened out. But the rest of it, the main portion, I wanted to be white. I don't know why, okay? And this fragrance oil, so yeah, there was possible acceleration as a thing. So then I was like, I should have mixed my colors first. But I figured if I'm mixing, I'll get the fragrance oil in there. I won't have to double mix. But not my typical way to do things. But yeah. And I'm not sure. Too much colorant could have been a thing. Don't want it to discolor too medium. The fragrance oil will discolor to medium brown. So I was hoping that with my colors I would get some variation and some little distinction on the wood. You know what I'm saying? Because it's supposed to look like a wood grain. Like a cool tabletop. I did watch I Dream in Soap. I love her name because I know what she's talking about. And hers was really good, but she used the bottles, but she did it in a different way. She still poured it. And it was so cute how she did it, because she was like, and then do little jagged things so you get a knot in the middle, every once in a while. But my soap, yeah, so it definitely didn't stay fluid. I was hoping, since I was so close to emulsion, just on the bare side of emulsion, that I wasn't going to have problems with it, but I just seemed to have problems with it. It just seemed like it was going backwards, and So then I was like, oh my gosh, I have to make sure this is emulsified so that I don't have muddy looking soap lines in there. And I should have just trusted the damn process is what I should have done, and I didn't. But anyway, so, you know, and I shouldn't have taken my blender to it, but I did the bowl swirl, just did them all the colors across from each other, and yeah, that red was thick. I love the color of that fire cider. That is a beautiful color, but it was thick, so I'm trying to push it down. It's like, pour it from higher up, girl. Pour it from higher up. Get it in there. But yeah, so that was, and give it a swirl. I should have swirled it a little more. That in itself was part of the problem of this pour. Okay, so I did what I always do, is pour down the side of the mold, and it was going good the first time, and then it got chunky, and then it just, it looks really cool though. I was kind of like, maybe this will work. Maybe this will work. You know, maybe this will come out. Maybe I'm just too wishful thinking. I don't know, right? But this spiced mahogany scent I like it. Like, I'd use a bar. The guys in my house, the boys in my house, they all thought it was nice smelling, you know, nice bar. And if you're wondering, yes, this got sprayed with isopropyl alcohol, and it got put in the oven for C-pop, and it stayed there all night. And to the cut of this bad boy. See, that's the wood grain look I wanted. This side, that was kind of cool too. That side was not so much. Okay, so this took me a bit because I had to figure, oh gosh, it was just awful, you guys. Trying to figure this out and make sure I had it right was just painful. And that's what I meant by also it depends on how the pour is done too. I knew I needed to cut from the top down. Some people cut like the middle, like they cut, okay, so the top down as in, that wasn't a bad one at all. That was when I was actually like, yes, this is okay, from the top down. So I get the same as the side, right? So I'm cutting the top, but I am cutting, instead of cutting how I normally do, like one chunk, one chunk, one chunk, I'm cutting 3 inches off, and then I am cutting from the top down in a different way. Like horizontally from the top down, okay? Now I'm going to show you how some people cut it. And that's why I said it depends on the pour. Now, if I had super, super tiny lines in there, it probably would have been fine either way I cut it, you know, like I said with the, but my soap was chunky, and that is cutting, you know, you saw how I cut that, okay? Just dumb. But I knew, I wanted to show you that, you know, it wasn't going to work that way. And because I got so confused with how I was doing it, I cut it the same way again. So that top is my side, okay? And I was just like, hopefully the media is off. Okay, this one we're going to do the correct way. That is my top. That is my top of my bar. Correct as in for this pour. That's how most of them did it. So because it's only 2.5 inches, I wanted an inch. I had to cut the half off. So I told my kids I might cut them and make sample bars out of them. Or if they wanted one really bad. But that's how you cut it, from the top down. See? If my batter hadn't been so thick, but I definitely got lots of knots in there. This should discolor, you guys. This should discolor. This is right after the pour. The white hopefully will stay white. Sometimes it doesn't, right? But that's the wood grain cuts. Those are the from the top down. Okay? Cut the bar and cut from the top down, but not a normal cut down, like horizontal, not the perpendicular, you know? Am I being clear? God, it's so complicated to explain. Now, those are my cuts that were made into the soap, right? Cut the top inch off, okay? That's how those were cut. And they're really cool, you know? I have to weigh them and see if everybody weighs close to the same amount. I don't know. But I will definitely show you a picture of these when they are cured for like a week or so, because that is going to change. And here are the fragrance notes on this sucker. They are yummy. And here's the soap almost a month later. It didn't discolor as bad as I thought it was, so that was a bonus. Well, that's all for today. I hope you had a good time. Thank you for stopping by. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.